Welcome to the Chad and Chong podcast, where we have conversations about performance, production, and everything in between. My name is Chad,
And my name is Chong.
and Merry Christmas.
Dude, Merry Chrysler. Merry Christmas. Is that the video?
Can you tell?
Christmas Spectacular Radio City Rockets.
Yeah,
Were you there?
I was. Yeah,
When was that?
Couple years ago, during Thanksgiving. That's when they start their whole kind of Christmas spectacular.
Yeah.
If you guys know New York City, the Radio City Music Hall, they put on the show. I think it's over like 50 years now, 75, maybe
Dang.
100 years. I don't know, but yeah, it's a Christmas spectacular. It was really great. I loved it.
Funny story. So I do not start listening to Christmas music until the very first day of December at 12 a.m.
So you stay up.
I'll stay up, yeah.
Wow. Why is that?
Well, I stay up regardless, right? I've had this tradition, I don't know how many years now. I don't like listening to Christmas music prior to the month of December for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's worked out so far. I don't know
It's worked
how.
out so-
Yeah, I don't know how. Some people might argue with me. You might be one of them thinking Kevin's crazy, but it's true. Like, I don't know. I just don't like to do that. What about you? When do you start?
Well,
If you tell me you start before Thanksgiving, we got to end this podcast right now.
if you want me to be honest, I don't like listening to Christmas stuff.
At all?
It's like it gets to be a lot after a while. Like maybe if I'm walking the mall, like the Grove in LA or something, or it's nice in the atmosphere. But my girlfriend Michelle is the complete opposite. She absolutely loves Christmas. I think if she had the opportunity, and this goes for a lot of Filipinos too, actually in the Philippines, Christmas starts like in July, literally. Yeah, and I don't know what it is. If we're talking about Christmas tradition or something, like Christmas starts super early in the Philippines, and it's a big thing, and I think maybe I don't know, it just has to do with like, it's a much poorer country, and but Christmas is a big thing. It's a time when families get together, hopefully, and we celebrate a lot, and so maybe because of economic reasons or whatever, they literally start saving like 6 months in advance, just so they can get that toy or something for the family members. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think maybe there was a time too in my life where I was maybe like scarred because I did so much Christmas gigging, like even like before I could drive.
Wait, but were the gigs all Christmas music, or you just doing? Oh man, yeah.
No, Christmas
Got
gigging,
you.
like
Got you.
a lot of Christmas parties for a lot of different companies. If you grew up in the IE in Riverside, the Mission Inn.
Oh man, that whole thing's lit up, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And like to be honest, like the first couple years, if you know this, but their lemon chicken is really bomb. But if you eat it 15 times within a month, it gets really dry. So, but yeah, I used to play at the Mission Inn so much, and their ballroom over there for a whole bunch of different parties. So maybe that was it. And if for musicians that know, Christmas music is hard, man. It's not regular chord changes. It's a lot of different weird, funky stuff. So, I try to limit my Christmas music so that I can enjoy the little bit.
Dude, that's great. Okay, so let me ask you this, because this is a popularity amongst Latinos, right? I don't know if other cultures do this too. Do you guys celebrate Christmas the 24th or the 25th?
So my immediate family, we celebrate Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. Okay, so meaning like you do dinner and you open gifts.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Gotcha. Okay,
yeah. And I think for the longest time we used to open gifts like at midnight.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. And as a kid, you can't wait, but as I gotten older, I'm like, man, I'm like falling asleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But-
and then a lot of it ends up being just because there's a bunch of kids now that we have in the family. So we start around 12 and won't end till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you still got to do the drive back home. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, that's funny.
Christmas Eve thing.
We're towards the end of the Christmas season at Disneyland. I'm actually, been
yeah.
playing at the park the last couple weeks, or now almost 2 months, and it's been great. We're actually playing on Christmas Day, and normally I wouldn't work on Christmas Day, but we're working Christmas Day, but working the evening of Christmas Day. Does that make sense?
So like the 25th at
so the
night.
25th at
Yeah.
night. Yeah. Since we celebrate the 24th, not that big of a deal to work on the 25th because the 24th we get with my family, like my uncles, my aunts, my nephews, or whatever on the 24th. And then the 25th, we'll get together with family, my immediate family, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, and we start opening gifts together in the evening of the 25th. So we finish Disney around 7:45, 8 o'clock. I'll be home by like 8:30 and then probably do gifts then and stuff. So
Oh, that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So what other what kind of Christmas traditions did you have growing up? Was there like certain foods that you would do? Would you go to an aunt's house? Like how did you celebrate
Yeah,
Christmas?
the way my family has done it the last 31 years, my uncle to this date makes the same dishes. It's turkey, Russian salad, rice, onions with cilantro and jalapeno, and the famous ají, which if you don't know what ají is, it's Peruvian hot sauce essentially. It's green. So that's been our plate every single year, and it's bomb. And we do it for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah, that's what we do. Typically, that'll be our tradition, and we've hosted Christmas a couple of times at our house, but it's a lot of work for him to, take the turkey out of the oven, put it in the car, and so
Bring
it
everything.
typically So typically we'll go to his house, or he'll just do the turkey at my cousin's house, which has been the case the last five or 6 years. What about you? What are your traditions food wise?
Food wise, oh man, yeah, it's a big party. Well, growing up, actually, I spent 3 years in the Philippines when I was a kid. Yeah, another fun fact.
Manila?
About an hour south in Lipa.
Okay, nice.
But
I like that accent, man. It's
yeah,
nice.
thank you so much. Yeah. All my Batangueños out there. Um, yeah, and my grandparents actually owned a hospital where it was a hospital clinic on the bottom floor, and then the living quarters were above. And so, actually, this is a kind of Christmas, New Year's
Nice,
kind of a
man.
thing. But what they would do is they would throw a huge party for not just our family, but all the staff, all the nurses,
Gotcha.
and all the other kinds of staff in the hospital. And I remember it'd just be like so much fun. Downstairs in the hallways, where the rooms are for the patients
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
We just have games for days.
Dude,
and
that's great.
so many prizes and just food for days. And so we actually kind of carry that over. Most of my family is here now.
Gotcha.
There's still one family that's in the Philippines. This is on my mom's side, but so what we do now is we kind of bring that spirit over here. So we all go to either one of my cousins or my aunt's house, and yeah, it's kind of like a big, massive potluck, and everybody kind of brings like their own dishes. I would cook sometimes, if I feel like it.
What do you make?
Well, recently, I just try to make it easy, but I'll make just like a potato cheese casserole.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be really fun. But it's funny, at least in my family, because we'd have again, it's most usually dinner.
Sure.
Sometimes we'll do earlier and we'll do lunch, and but it'll go till dinner if we start at lunch.
Yeah.
And then after dinner will be all these games, and then after these games there'll be like a midnight, on the 25th still. Like we'll still be eating, but by this time now we're eating breakfast foods. So if you're
Oh,
Filipino,
gotcha.
there's this dish called champorado, and usually you dip it with pan de sal, which is just bread. And
Yeah.
so we literally like throughout the day of celebration, like we started at lunch, then we had dinner, then with games, and then like at midnight we'd have like kind of this breakfast spread. And
That's great, man.
we'd go all night. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. It's a lot of food, and usually like we're all in food comas by the
Yeah.
end of the night.
Around 12 a.m. we'll do some arroz con leche. And that's always his arroz con leche is so good, so we'll enjoy that, and then we'll start opening gifts. And the way we do it is we have the kids actually hand out the gifts. This is a little shout out to my cousin Jordan. He still believes in Santa, right? So he got a gift from his mom and dad, and it had this certain wrapping paper. It was kind of like this peculiar color. And so my uncle did this thing where he walked outside the house, knocked on the door really loud, and then did the ho 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 noise to make it sound like Santa was dropping off more gifts.
Yeah.
In comes this huge box, but with the same wrapping paper. So he goes, "Hey, Santa left me a gift." He's like, "But why is it the same wrapping paper as you, mommy and daddy?" And and so they go, "Oh," they had to come up with some funny excuse, but it was the funniest thing because the whole family was cracking up. They thought he had figured it out, and I don't know if has or hasn't, but it's pretty funny, man. Like the whole handing out gifts. Sometimes they can't pronounce the actual names.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
to who it's for. And I don't know if this is the case for you, but my number one gift is socks.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Yeah.
What do you get?
Do you guys do white elephant? Does your family do white elephant?
I do that for my own Christmas party, but no,
Right.
we don't do it with the family. No,
Yeah. What about Secret Santa? Do you guys do Secret Santa?
no, we don't do that either, man.
Yeah, we do Secret Santa too. I think white elephant is the most fun, especially for families, and you put like a limit, like $25 limit or something
Yeah.
like that. And for us, like we kind of make like a theme. So sometimes it'll be like, anything that starts in, B. So literally it could be like, $25 worth of bananas or something, or boxers, or just something fun like that. So, and usually there's like somebody who doesn't quite understand it. And then I remember just like last year, I think actually somebody had like $100 in cash. So literally everybody was trying to steal the cash, and we're
Well,
like,
how many times after can you guys?
I think there's like 2 or 3
Okay,
steals
yeah,
after
yeah.
or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's been way too many funny instances in the past, but there's also been some really good, come ups, like some coffee makers. I think one time there was like, what do you call those instant pot?
Oh yeah, yeah, those
You
are
know what I
great.
mean?
Yeah.
But I remember. I mean, I don't remember because I actually wasn't there. But talk about a little bit about you and your Christmas parties. So I've heard a rumor, and I wasn't there.
Okay.
But at some of your Christmas parties, somebody walked away with a TV. Is this
Yeah.
fact or
No,
fiction? Can you explain yourself?
This is true. Okay, so the first Christmas party,
Like a flat screen.
yeah, well, okay, so let me explain. So yeah, we started this Christmas party tradition 4 or 5 years ago, right? The only year we didn't have it was 2020 because of COVID, And every year I try to give out some grand prize, right? And the way you win it is by bringing the ugliest sweater you have. So
Yeah.
ugly sweater competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Edwin ended up bringing a ugly sweater, and it was a mirror with armpits underneath his armpits, right? And so it was
A mirror.
but there was a mirror. All right, and it was all decked out, but it was you.
Oh,
yeah! So it was
wow.
super creative, and so
So that was the ugly sweater.
Yeah, it was the ugly
It's
sweater.
you.
Yeah. We cast a vote,
Wow.
out of the 20, 25 people that are there. And so everybody ended up voting him first place, obviously, because it was so creative. And so I gave away, I think it was like a 21-inch TV, 1 year, for him to take home. It wasn't anything extravagant by any means, but yeah, it was a TV. The following year, my buddy Mauricio won it. I gave away a sound bar. So every year I try to give something that, people I think
Stakes are high.
I think might need, but the whole idea is like, yeah, we do the ugly sweater competition. And then as of late, the last couple of years, we implemented the white elephant gift. And that's been awesome because people bring some funny stuff, stuff you wouldn't. I mean, I think 1 year, Chris last year brought a food chopper
Oh yeah.
from Ninja, and I copped
are
that.
great.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Alex brought toilet paper one time.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and I finally got to attend last year, I think.
No, not last year. You can
not
can you tell everybody what happened last year, buddy?
Yeah, so I remember a couple years before, you would always invite me. And again, because I used to just gig so much, I usually could never make it. And I always had some sort of excuse, so I always had to be somewhere. And so I was so excited this year because the date that you gave me, I was actually free. Or not this year, the last year, 2021. So you invited me and my girlfriend, Michelle, and we said, this is going to be awesome. And we're going to make our mark. And, Michelle's from Hawaii. She grew up, born and raised in Hawaii. So we're going to make some spam musubis.
Because it's also a potluck, by the way.
Yeah.
So I forgot to mention that.
And it's awesome because
Yeah.
you see foods from all different cultures, and you see who can cook and who can't, But usually Kevin's mom always wins the prize. So, but yeah, so we spent the whole day, I think, just getting ready, and honestly, Michelle was doing most of the work, and she was taking a lot of pride in her musubis, and she even cut them up in little bite-sized, sizes, so that way for people who never had it, they can try it.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they like it, they can get a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think it was a Friday.
I think it was a Friday. You're right.
I think it was a Friday.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
I hadn't been feeling too well that morning. And as the day progressed, it just, something wasn't agreeing with my stomach. But I did not want to have that rep that I just never showed up to Kevin's parties. And this time, Michelle brought so much food. I'm talking like enough to feed like 40 people.
Wow.
So I was like, we're going to go no matter what. So while Michelle was prepping, I was having visits with, the restroom. And I said, okay, hopefully that's the last one. Hopefully I can make it. So we started our trek from LA, and I think it was in Orange County.
Yeah, we're in Santa Ana.
Yeah, in
that's
Santa
right.
Ana.
Yeah.
And I looked at the GPS, and it was going to take almost 3 hours. And I said, no matter what, we are going. This is the year we're going. I start making the trek, and I started feeling something in my stomach. I said, oh boy, this isn't good. So I actually pulled over to a Target after about 40 minutes on the road, did my visit. I said, okay, we're going to keep going. I think we got down to like near the LAX area. I had to stop by at another Target. This is also a tip for you guys if you're traveling. Target's a good place to go visit the facilities. I'm just letting you know. It's a quick tip. So now we've been on the road for, I'd say, like 2 hours, and we still had another hour to go. And I think we were getting close to, the Orange County area. And I was at another Target, and I literally had to tell Michelle, I was like, what do I tell Kevin? Because I'm not going to make it through the night. Or if we get there, I'm going to be hogging up the restroom. And I'm afraid that I might do some bad things to a guest restroom that I wouldn't want to do. And so unfortunately, after all the hours that Michelle put in, and, I was so excited, texting Kevin, I've got Musubis coming and all this. We had to make the unfortunate decision to turn around.
That's right.
And I had to drive back home, and I ate Musubis for about a week and a half. So I'm sad that I missed it, but that's a true story.
Yeah. We were texting. It was like almost like what, 9:30, 9:45, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we, normally we try to, we host them pretty late. Really, I try to plan it on the day that we don't have anything going on the following day, at least for myself, make sure that we have enough time. Because that particular year, last year, we were remodeling my house,
that's right.
And so, we hosted it. Michael Paquette actually was kind enough to offer his home. Or his mom's house actually in Santa Ana, and so we did it there, and it's this beautiful backyard, it's humongous, and a bunch of food. She had it all decked out, decorations were all there. It was phenomenal. But yeah, Chad fortunately couldn't make it. I think you have made it prior, right? Like
I did, yeah. I made it to your house a couple times.
Yeah, a couple of times, yeah.
Because I definitely had some gifts to take home, so that was really
yeah.
I had a lot of good laughs too.
Yeah,
but yeah, talking about Christmas, and I know I spoke a little bit about my experience. Did you have a lot of gigs, and like what does Christmas look like for you as a musician? Because I think a lot of people don't even realize this, but for a lot of people who celebrate and maybe don't celebrate at home, but they go out or things like that, we musicians are actually working to provide that hopefully memorable event for you.
Right.
What's your experience in that?
So typically the last several years, man, the only gig, if you want to call it that I do is actually a candlelight service for churches. Last year I was a part of a production where it was a 3-day thing. We came in for rehearsal Wednesday and Thursday, and then did a Christmas Eve service on Friday. Did 2 of them. So typically, if I have to work at all, I will try to do it all before 6 o'clock, because around 7 is when my family and I start to get together. So I try to make sure, okay, what time am I going to be done? And a lot of these churches will host a 12 p.m. service. I think Eastside might be one of them in Orange County. I think Crossroads, when they were doing their Christmas production, they have like 6 or 7 services in the span of 2 days, which is insane, But yeah, typically I'll wrap up hopefully by 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then I'll drive from whatever area I'm in, back home. And so last year happened to be I was in Murrieta. So from Murrieta, I drove all the way to Norwalk, made it there around around 7 o'clock or so, had dinner, hung out with family. But yeah, I try not to really, go deep into the evening, because I want to be with family. And I think that's important just in general terms to prioritize, that's a very special day for family. And sometimes that's the only instances where I get to see a lot of my extended family, because they all live in LA, and obviously I live in the IE. So I really have to be intentional of making sure I'm there and spending time with them, What have your Christmases been like, or Christmas Eve services?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I used to do a lot of corporate stuff from Christmas parties, leading up to, Christmas day and stuff. But yeah, now I try to really my best to not do anything on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Except for church, which it kind of makes it tough now because my church is a lot further away from where most of my family
Sure.
lives. So like this year we have a couple Christmas Eve services, and again we celebrate on Christmas Eve. So like right after I'm making the trek 120 miles back home,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
hopefully make it in time for dinner. Last year and actually this has happened a lot of times. When I used to live in Chicago, even I'd have to take care of the church service there. Last year I was in Denver, I had to take care of the church service there,
Yeah.
and literally I'd be flying on Christmas Day. So it's an interesting thing because it really makes me think a lot of the people who may not be able to be home, for the holidays, and especially obviously Christmas. It's a time where a lot of people want to be with their families,
Yeah,
and,
of
and
course.
maybe for whatever circumstances can't be home. And there's been a lot of times where I've literally traveled on Christmas Day, on Thanksgiving Day, on New Year's Day, even
Yeah.
things like that, and in planes and airports, I feel like is one of those areas where you really think a lot, right? Because you're usually by yourself traveling.
Sure.
But yeah, for me, I just try to be like extra nice, especially the people working, in especially in like airports, food service industry, customer service. Because you don't realize like everybody, they could be with their families, and for whatever reasons, they're working.
Yeah.
So it just, I have a heart for that, and I can kind of empathize with them. But, as much as possible now, if I can, I try to be home, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, things like that. But yeah, I used to do a lot more gigging way back when,
Yeah.
during around the holidays, which again, for musicians it's usually a really great time
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's so much happening.
Right.
and
Yeah.
and hopefully it's really great pay because hopefully the client or whoever's hiring you understands that they're taking you away from
Oh, yeah.
really important time. And
Right.
but the reality too is there's a lot of instances where that doesn't happen, and sometimes you're forced to take it just because of whatever your circumstances
Exactly.
are.
Exactly.
And we'll probably talk about this in the next couple episodes, but you know after the holidays, January,
Oh man.
it's usually really
really slow.
dry
Yeah. Yeah.
for the music industry, and so that even gives you more of a reason to
Yeah,
pick
exactly.
up more things as the year ends.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Was it you or was it Sapin who hit me up to travel? Was it Thanksgiving Day or was it for a service? Didn't you want me to go to Colorado?
I might have for
Was it
Christmas.
for
It was for
Christmas?
Christmas. Yeah,
Yeah, and I said, bro, I can't. Like
Yeah.
it'd be one thing if it was a service out here, I would have been like, yeah, man, I'm totally down if I'm out by this time. But you're like, no, you'd have to be in Colorado Christmas
yeah.
Eve.
And
I was
again,
like,
that's a tough thing. It's like trying to get musicians
Yeah.
to come out and especially travel. It's tough, but
yeah,
that
that's
happens
right.
a lot. Yeah.
I remember that one, man. Yeah, Christmas is always a special time for my family. One of the things we used to do too is we would bring our consoles together and play like some NBA games or Call of
Yeah.
Duty,
Oh, that's
so whatever with my cousin Jason and my brother Louie and stuff like that. But yeah, those are traditions we've had for many years now, man, and it's proven to be something we definitely enjoy. Almost 31 years, as long as I've been alive. My uncle's been doing the same plate as long as I've known, and it's always phenomenal. We just know what we're gonna get, which is great. But traditions I think are important to uphold, in times like this. But yeah, we hope you guys are having great holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Make sure if you haven't already, you subscribe to us on YouTube. Check this beautiful fireplace out. You know what I'm saying? Keeping us toasty.
Some warm and toasty.
And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, Amazon Music, make sure you follow us. That way you stay tuned with every episode that comes out every single Friday.
From Chad,
And Chong,
Merry Christmas.